Hi, Astra here with the Shamanic Empowerment School, and I'm really excited to welcome you to my first YouTube live video masterclass, Opening to Your Abundance. And in this video, I'm going to share a bit about Shamanic Empowerment School and how it works, and what it is and who it's for. And also I am going to share some powerful tools and inner wisdom that can help you to open to your own abundance from within your being. So I'm a shaman, and I've been a shaman for several lifetimes. In this lifetime, I really started my own shamanic empowerment journey, not consciously perhaps, but you know, in steps, in baby steps. I really began my journey in 1994. So that's a long time ago, right? So over 22 years ago. And in fact, I guess it must be at this point 23 years ago, because I really kind of got started that summer of 1994. I had already, you know, kind of known about natural medicine and homeopathic remedies. And I had been introduced to flower essences like the Bach remedies by this really sweet couple who owned a tiny health food store in my college town. And so, you know, I was, and, you know, once I learned about flower essences, I really loved them. They work so quickly on people who are sensitive to energies. They're just amazing. So I really started working with them very intuitively, and even intuitively choosing essences for my loved ones as well as just myself. And then the summer of 94, a friend of mine showed up at my apartment, and he said, I borrowed this deck of cards from my sister, and I knew that you would love them. So I wanted to come, you know, let you borrow them for a couple weeks or whatever. And they were the animal medicine cards. And look, with all the different messages of the totem animals and how each one can help you step into your power. And I was hooked. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And that same summer, I actually started going to drum circles regularly that they had around town and on my college campus. And I had taken about a year before, or maybe 2 years before that, I had actually taken West African drumming lessons and learned how to play a talking drum. And so I would bring my talking drum to the drum circles, and it just felt so good. And then I would borrow my friend's bongos, and I would just sort of like start playing. And I just had this like inner drummer, like Animal from the Muppets, would come out and I would just be in heaven. And so it was like drumming and flower essences and totem animals and all this stuff. And I just was kind of waking up, you know, bit by bit, a little bit at a time. And I started writing. I was always writing poetry all my life, but I started writing daily, and it was like a therapeutic writing session. And even my writing was very shamanic and transformative for me, maybe even for people who read it. I'm not sure. I think so. And so anyway, fast forward several years, you know, I would kind of, like I said, go in baby steps. And so what I within the past couple years, and now I'm 47. I just turned 47 in June. And I was, at the time in 94, I was 24. And so as the past couple of years, I started to kind of look back over my entire journey, and I started to see this really awesome, cool pattern of like me stepping into my personal power eventually, gradually over time, and how I did it, and how each piece on my empowerment journey was sort of like a link in the chain that connected to the next piece and the next piece, and how it all makes sense flowing together. And what I came to discover is that there are 5 aspects of empowerment and 5 levels of empowerment and 25 areas of empowerment that make up your entire empowered being. So like when everything's flowing, you know, perfectly well, in all 25 areas or squares on the grid, because I created the Shamanic Empowerment Grid, when everything's just flowing properly, then you are in your power. And you can, you know, be happy and create anything you want to create, and all flows and all is well. And if you ever feel off balance or blocked in any of those areas, you can go to the grid and do the work that is needed in that area of your empowerment grid. And there's 8 realms of shamanic empowerment that each of us has within ourselves, so that any work we do on our empowerment grid is actually coming from our own inner resources. Because what I found to be the truth is that we don't need anything from outside of ourselves in order to heal and be whole. And it's just really cool. So so in the Shamanic Empowerment School, we work with the grid, and I deliver master classes, private master classes in the school each month. And there's also weekly opportunities for personalized Q&A and shamanic empowerment coaching with me, and all of this stuff. So who is my true tribe? Who do I work with in the school? Well, my true tribe are messengers who are here on earth to share your message on a global level or on a larger scale than, you know, just a couple Facebook friends or whatever, that you know you have a message in your heart and soul that you are here on earth in this lifetime to share on a large scale. But that you're a little bit, you know, it can feel a little bit scary. So my job is to be here to support you in stepping into your power as what calls itself, or what I call, in being a universal wisdom leader. Because if you have that, if you, like, you know, probably are spiritual, and maybe you've been on the healing path, or maybe you're a heart-centered coach or a spiritual teacher or spiritual artist, you know, healing practitioner of some sort, and you just have this sort of this big message burgeoning, is that a word? Burgeoning up from within you, that's clamoring to be shared with your tribe. Because what's true is that your message is empowering for your tribe. So my sole purpose is to teach empowerment to you guys, so that you can teach empowerment to your guys' guys. So like, I support you in supporting your tribes in becoming the most empowered beings. And each of us does this. I do it in my own unique way with you guys, and you do it in your own unique ways with your tribes. But the thing is, we can't be there to fully empower or to fully teach empowerment to our tribes if we are not taking care of and allowing ourselves to be in our own power, you know, as best we can be, as close to 100% of the time as we can. So that's what the Shamanic Empowerment School is here for. It's sort of like a gas station where you can refuel yourself, refuel your tank, but it's way more than just a gas station. But that's kind of like a feeling I'm getting right now, a way to describe it. You know, with all the tools and and wisdom that I've learned over my life, I just share freely in the school with you guys as guided or as the need comes up. It's kind of an organic, feel to the way that I run the school. Although, like I said, there is the monthly masterclass. There are weekly empowerment messages. You have weekly opportunities, again, like I said, to receive personalized coaching, guidance, wisdom support from me, yours truly, Astra. And there's bonus classes that I share. And things like they just form organically as needed. Whatever empowerment is needed at the time is what happens. So, so you guys, I got your backs, and so you can have your tribe's backs. That is the space, the empowerment space that I've created for you. So, the masterclass today about opening to your abundance was actually inspired by one of my clients in the school was asking for tips. Without getting too specific, she was asking for if I had any tips to right now kind of boost her abundance energy so that she can start attracting more prosperity on a financial level. And I was like, oh, yes, indeed. I always have those tips, but I took some time to really, I always take time to connect within and meditate on something before I just jump into sharing, because, it's important to me to share what really wants to come through in the moment in order to be of the greatest support and benefit to you guys. So I was guided to not only answer her question, but to incorporate it into my first video for Shamanic Empowerment School on my public YouTube channel. And I was guided to, have this be like an introductory kind of session with me, so you could see who I am, how I work, my energy, my big energy, and just, I was just guided, and I'm just really excited to share about this. And my teaching style is also very organic. Whatever I'm guided to have come through is what happens. Okay, so as I'm getting into it, I always take a moment to kind of take a deep breath or two, get really focused so I can open the channel for what wants to come through. Okay. So as I was meditating on this question, how can I open to greater abundance? And it more specifically, how can I boost my cash flow? I was automatically drawn to the fact that each of us within ourselves has the 8 realms of empowerment that we can kind of reach into and call upon to help balance out, one of our areas on the shamanic empowerment grid. And which in the school, I get into what that is more. And there's a picture of the grid, and there is a special bonus masterclass about how to work with the shamanic empowerment grid. And of course, I always am free to answer any questions that anyone may have while working with the grid. So once you discover what area of the grid is out of balance, or, whatever words you want to use, out of balance, blocked, not flowing properly. Once you determine, that area of the grid, then you get to reach in and determine which of the 8 which of the 8 realms of empowerment you are meant to, in that particular situation, you are meant to call upon from within yourself, so that you can help yourself and balance back out whatever imbalance has been happening. So I receive all almost all of my intuitive information in the shower. I call it my sacred shower, and it's that motion of the water as it comes down and kind of clears away all the residue from energetic residue from the day before. It really, for me, is so transformative, and as the previous day is let go of, it really creates this renewal, a rebirth process. And so like my crown chakra is all open, and I'm like, yes, I'm getting all this amazing intuitive information. So I was like, okay, I know what to do for my client's question. I'm going to ask, where in my own realms of empowerment I need to call upon for help from myself for this question. And for me, I got the goddess Lakshmi, because we actually have all of our spirit guides within ourselves. They're not out there, everything's inside. And we get more deeply into that in the school too. So I was like, okay, who can help me with cash flow? And of course, goddess Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of prosperity, came out. She was like, me. and it was like my inner Lakshmi is a good way to put it. You've got one too. And of course, going into your own empowerment realms, you might get a totally different answer. You might get, elm tree or the element of earth, or, and so you would ask that specific aspect or realm in your own empowerment wisdom well, would be what is needed for you, because everybody is well, I mean, we're all one, but we're all unique. So, at different times we will have our own unique needs as far as balancing out our own empowerment grid. So I got goddess Lakshmi. I was like, oh, that, I was kind of like, that makes sense. That's funny. I've worked a lot with Lakshmi and her energy, or should I say at this point, my inner Lakshmi energy. And so then I was, as I was leaving the bathroom, once I was done with, everything, and I was kind of standing in the door frame. And I thought, oh yeah, I never really finished that whole line of energy work. And I said, okay, Lakshmi, I said, so if you're the one to help me open to cash flow and more money flowing into my bank account, what is it, give me the wisdom or give me the guidance that I need to hear right now. And I heard her say, hold on tightly. And I went, okay. And so because I was standing in the doorway, I just kind of grabbed onto the door frames on either side of me. And I closed my eyes, and I had this whole shamanic journey vision experience of these spirit beings kind of helping to open up my solar plexus chakra, which is the energy center for your personal power. So they're opening it up, and in there is this big, like, almost spacecraft looking thing. It was like metal with these like hooks on it, and it was huge, and it was bigger than me. So I'm like, how can a giant spacecraft be bigger than me but yet still be stuck in me? And it was like, I was like, get it out of me, get it out of me. And this is the fun of being a shaman, right? And and I do have fun. I have fun doing this energy work, and I do energy work on myself every day, when I need it, quote unquote. So I'm like, an Archangel Michael, and we have all the archangels within us too. That's another thing. Archangel Michael, get it out of me. It was like birthing the biggest baby that you could possibly imagine in the universe, except that it wasn't helpful, and it was a big hunk of weird metal stuff, and it needed to go because it was blocking me from opening to my cash flow, apparently, because that's what this whole journey was about. And so then it was, and this is what's called a shamanic extraction. So the energy block, which showed itself to me visually as this hunk of metal, was removed or extracted. And shamanic extraction has been a big theme too with my shamanic clients, and I'm going to do a class on it in the school this month as well. So, and I could feel it leaving my energy field, and I was like, is it done? Is it done? Okay, yes, yes. But I still held on to the door frame, and I felt really lightheaded. So I knew that a big extraction had taken place. And I knew because I've been working on letting go of something very emotional, that I didn't even fully realize I was holding on to, from about the year 2003, with an old lifelong friend who I no longer am in contact with. And anyway, that old emotional wound, apparently I didn't fully realize, was kind of silently lingering in me. But I didn't think about it very much, not just because it was a painful memory, but because I've moved on, to obviously choosing to be happy and living my most empowered life. And so it was fascinating to me that as I'm starting to open up more and more and preparing to open up more and more in my own business, and our businesses are, of course, tied into our personal empowerment, that this old energetic residue was coming up to fully really be processed and released forever, 100%. And that's what this extraction was connected to. And so the reason I'm talking to you all about it is because you can do this for yourself too. Everyone has this ability to be your own shaman and 100% fully step into your power. And can we benefit from support around that? Of course we can. And I call that, I no longer say that I'm a healer and I heal people, because that's not true. It's never been true. It was sort of the old earth school of thinking, that you go to a shaman in order to be healed. But what's really happened, and what's really always happened, but that it can be hard to wrap our minds around, is that by choosing to go to a shaman for some energy work, you are empowering yourself to heal. And my job is to be here to teach you anything that I know in the realm of shamanic empowerment, which is about happiness, abundance, vitality, peace, freedom, being confident, being secure in who you are, not allowing outside influences or distractions to deter you from being all that you can possibly be and fulfilling your soul's purpose. I have spent the last 23 years gathering tools so that I can teach them to you. And even then, not to say that everything that I do and the way that I do it will be perfectly designed for you. So the other thing that I always say is, take what I've learned and make it your own. Tweak it, adapt it to how it feels good to you. Because I would never say to you, do what I do and such will happen. And that's the only way, or the only right way to do it. And you'll feel great. It's like, well, maybe, my job is not to, because that would be disempowering for you. I want to teach you everything that I've ever learned so that you can take it and make it your own and create it or recreate it from within a place of your inner knowing and your inner wisdom. So that's why I was really excited to share about this extraction that happened when all I did was tap into my own inner resources. And this thing that was literally humongous energetically and emotionally and all of that was released. And when I said, okay, so that was the answer to my question, how to open to greater cash flow, and I received the answer, yes. I was like, oh, okay. Message received. And I was lightheaded. I had to kind of hold on to things as I was walking through my kitchen to get some water. And then I started to kind of, just kind of settle back into my body and feel feel more grounded. And then I took a walk, which is very grounding always. Our feet on the earth, right? That's the eternal groundation sensation. So it was really cool. And so I hope that that gives you a new tool, you know, or gives you some great ideas of your own to take and run with it and make it your own, so that you can utilize what I have told you in the most empowering way for you yourself. And I also wanted to mention really quick, just because I'm so grateful to him, is that, you know, like I said, sometimes we all need support. And it's good to have people like me or like you that we can work with as sort of a mirror for what we're uncovering and for the shifts that we're going through. And so I have been working with a psychic marketer, but he's all that and much more. He's one of the most gifted spirits that I've ever met, and one of my favorite people. And he's a good friend. His name is Kian. And he, you know, it was really me dealing with that old friendship wound that led to this huge extraction, has really been one of the most transformative experiences that I have had in my life, because that wound, you know, like I said, however long, 2003, doing math in my head is not always my forte, 2003, 2013. So 14 years ago, I guess, is when the big thing, although that wound kind of really started happening even late in high school. Because like I said, it was with a lifelong friend who I kind of allowed to treat me poorly off and on for since the end of high school. And I kept forgiving her because she would always feel so bad and sorry and say, this is why that happened, and I'm really sorry, and I didn't mean to take it out on you, and blah, blah, blah. You know, but like, so I guess actually 2003 was sort of the be all end all, the last, what's that called? The last straw that broke the camel's back. And I just said, you know, I know we care about each other. I know we love each other, but we don't like each other. That's apparent. And I can't do this anymore, and I won't. And so, you know, cut off contact. And that was it. That was really it. And, you know, have been really careful to, in as much as possible, surround myself with very positive people who, you know, and to look into myself although the reason I started talking about Kian, the psychic marketer, is that he asked a couple probing questions about, you know, something that I was talking to him about in my business. And it led to this. It uncovered that old emotional wound. And it was like, wow, like, I'm so grateful that he's in my life and that I'm working with him, and that he is being that mirror that I need in order to be able to see all of that I just talked about. And not only that, but actually to process it and release it and all of this. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. And if you are looking for an amazing psychic marketer for your biz, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with him, because he's awesome. So yeah. And so I would love, if in the comments below, if you have any revelations from, you know, from this masterclass, any questions for me about Shamanic Empowerment School, or how to get in touch with Kian, the psychic marketer. I just love saying that. You know, or any questions at all about my work, my journey, just pop your questions below, and I'm just happy to answer them. And I'm really, really, really grateful to you for being here with me and watching the video. And I'm excited to hear how it went for you. Thank you for being here.